You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
All right, it's 5:30. I'll call the meeting to order.
Okay, sorry. I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes for the regular meeting on July 17th.
Second, anything further on those? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 I'll make a motion that we accept the non-public meeting 1, 2, and 3 on July 17th.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda.
I'll make that motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second. Anything further, Michael?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public input. Yep. Jeff,
I want to come over and take more.
is he on the agenda anyway?
No. It's not public input, yeah.
Yeah. There's a microphone up here, Jeff.
You sit next to me, Mr. Sabine. How you doing tonight?
Yes.
Good to see you.
Aye.
I have some questions about some paperwork that I received from the town, saying that I'm running an illegal gravel business. And that, I guess there was some paperwork or something, somebody turned in something, but that petition possibly that it's,
There's a petition.
yeah, Mike Jasmine told me that he saw there was something, and then whoever dropped it off took it with them, and I did get a copy of it. And everybody he's talked to about this is secret. I can't know anything about anything that anyone said. And I went and saw him maybe a week ago. And the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, yeah, I was just gonna call you," but she never called me, so probably wasn't. And I asked him questions about this, and in this, one of the things in here, it says, truck traffic continues, I guess there's people complaining about the trucks. And he said, the truck traffic continues to be frequent and fast. I have taken the time to witness it for myself, per their request. So I asked him, I said, what did you say? And he said, what he said to me was, that Jay Roy, you gotta slow down. And I said, Jay Roy, who's building 2 houses up past me, nothing to do with me. You know, I said, so that's what he witnessed, Jay Roy maybe going fast. So I think people are blaming me for stuff that I'm not doing. So it's a little frustrating. And last year, I was approached by a former company about some fill over by the Wilson Pond dump. They asked me if I would be interested in fill. And I said, yeah, I'd love to do it. Then we kind of talked about the town. They said they were going to talk to the town and see if it was okay. So they got back to me and said the town said it was okay. So then they made demands about how I had to, not really demands, but I had to upgrade my driveway to handle the trucks, which was about $10,000 worth of work.
Form Up made that?
Now,
No, but Form Up said you had to upgrade the drone.
yes,
Okay.
for it to happen, I had to do it. Then I had to sign a contract with them saying that any up to 180,000 yards, which I wasn't gonna take that much, we kind of talked about that. I had to pay them for every yard that I didn't take. So basically I would owe them 180,000, up to $180,000 if I couldn't take it. So this started about Christmas or, you know, in that area. So I got dirt for maybe a week, maybe a little bit more, and then the guy that owns Form Up called me and said that he got some complaint from the code enforcement officer saying about the trucks and that I can't really be taking this stuff when I thought it was true. So he, somehow he made it so they wouldn't bring me any more fill, but they were bringing it to other people around. So trucks kept going to someone else for weeks. People were thinking it's me, I'm assuming. So I think that's how this all started. But I got stuff for like a week with town permission, what I was told. So now, like I said, actually Mike texted me last night, wanted me to call him, so I talked to him last night. And he said, I have to go to, I told him, I don't want to run a gravel business, I don't really want to do that. And he said, well, I have to get permission to park my truck on my property or any equipment. So that's where we're at. So it's just strange that everything's a big mystery. I mean, is that how it works? People, people turn in paperwork and it's private, no one knows anything about it, it disappears.
No, I personally don't know anything about the petition. You know,
That's what I was thinking.
like he said, that whoever it was had a piece of paper and took it with them, but,
Yeah.
I guess we'll look at,
Oh,
but you're not hauling out of there. So it's not like it's a gravel pit. You just bring it in fill?
yeah.
Okay,
Which I've been doing since 2005.
yeah.
So, I mean, there's 3 lots there. It's, so it's, you know what I mean? And the town that Jasmine has told me before, bring stuff in is fine, which I don't know if that's fine now to do that. I'm like, no. But don't sell stuff back. So that's what I've been doing. You know what I mean? So and I think they're blaming, there's 4 houses that just went in on that road. 4 new houses.
Up above you?
Yeah, 4, 1 at the end, 2 for Tom Maynard's property, who sold 2 lots, and then that Austin there,
Yep.
that now a nice guy.
Yeah.
He the one that got a ton of that fill too. He got a ton of it after they shut me. And they didn't bring me 1 load after this all happened. So it's just, I got some concerns about it.
All right, well, I guess we'll look into it. No, thank
So
you.
before you leave, the arguments you're having is that there's paperwork that you haven't seen and we
Yeah.
haven't seen.
And
And you're claiming that it isn't you going up and down the road with your trucks.
Yeah, yeah.
These are the things you want us to look into.
And
How many trucks do you have?
one,
Jay Roy's been going up and down the hill a lot, but Jay Roy, the truck's full of speed. And we've been doing a lot of work up there with the lining project, and I think the only people that are speeding up there, the cars and go
Yeah.
back and forth. Like
right. I think people see big trucks and they think they're speeding. It's because they're big.
Jay Roy's, I've never seen.
I road on speed on with a big truck, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's,
I don't think, I don't accuse them of anything either. I like, sure, I'm not doing business with them. And you get 2 houses up there, they even trucked out all the stumps, there's a lot of traffic, 4 houses. So, it's just, I've been doing the same thing since '05, you know what I mean? I know what I can do and I know what I can't do, I'm not perfect, right? But, it's just some funny things, and everybody that he talks to about this, it's pride. I didn't know that's how it worked again. Every conversation he's had, all paperwork he's read, that he has or does not have, I don't know until he's got it. It's a secret. So that's my concern.
We'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Huh?
What's your grandfather, by now?
Cobble Hill.
I don't have any kids left.
Well, but your gravel pit.
Maybe you shouldn't widen the road and make it nice and smooth.
I told Nick Santini happy about it.
Oh, it's a great job up there too.
Happy about the dust, but I said the speed complaints are gonna come.
It gets paid.
It looks great.
Joe did an unbelievable
You
job.
did a great job.
I'm
It
so,
looks like a different road up there.
sure does.
Yeah.
Any other public input? Seeing none, we'll move on to, Mike.
We talked about the fall. Do I need to talk about that?
Sure, if you'd like.
It's coming up shortly.
Yeah, if you'd like to either now or you can, it's next on the agenda, or one almost next on the agenda, so either
You
way.
can make it next if you
On
want.
the general way.
It's just, you want to punt on the other until Bill gets started?
Sure.
Okay,
Thank
so
you, Jeff.
old business, we'll go to Whitcomb Hall exterior painting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to speak to it?
Let's, let Mr. Camarlo go first.
2 weeks ago, when I was here, we talked about the paint. We talked about the doors, we talked about the back of the building. And I said that I would want to get together with the committee and see what we think about some of these things. And then we had a professional painter suggesting the amount of $60,000 was way out of line, and that $16,000 would be an appropriate figure for repainting the building and doing the necessary, what they have to do. And then when I talked to Kenny about the doors, that was some cracks in the 3 panels, and Kenny hit them down, was look at them, and he said, I can fix them. I've got to think about how I want to do it. He said, I'd like to be able to build the doors on, he said, but I can fix the 310, set it crack and make it right. And that's a pretty, to replace those doors, it'd be close to $10,000.
Plus, if you're looking at the is it heritage, where we getting the little grant from the grant, yeah. We got the grant from the
LCHIP.
grant we got from the state, and they were talking about the doors and sort of that. We had to check the grant anytime, anything else. So,
I think Pete Johnson was the one that was looking to change the doors.
and then you were-
We were just looking to fix the cracks and to save on the heating in the winter times. Like when it gets cold and dry, those cracks expand. And it's been difficult to keep the place warm when it gets really cold. And then the cost of fuel. So if you can fix those cracks, that's great.
He said he would do that. So we talked about painting the cracks in the,
Carriage house.
The eaves, the eaves gonna be part of that project too, and it's coming down at some points there.
and when we talked about that, Scott, we're thinking that if you paint the place, it'll give us a chance to go up there and if this needs repair, that we would repair them.
If they have a lip.
We
Probably have a lip.
town has a bucket truck. We're going
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have a bucket truck. No, shouldn't reach that.
The raise it off too, but, I mean, with that rate,
37.
it's not, like, because the handle wasn't on that cloth. And the last time I repaired this side here because the fire department had the ladder program.
Get a ladder, but the bucket truck should
Yeah, and that should just be nailed right back up again. Just the failure of nail to get it. We're above it down here, not down.
That's, yeah.
Work it. I leave the window open upstairs, so,
There, and
we can
we can do that. The last thing that we were talking about was the back of the barn. Now we've got the clapboards left over from when we worked on the barn, in the barn already. And we could button the barn back up. And we have to fix the necessary clapboards and make sure that it's tight and it's waterproof and what have you. I guess we're still talking about painting part of it. The clapboards are old, the barn is a couple hundred years old, I don't think we clapboarded it right off, so maybe the clapboards for not for 150, would say, or.
maybe not that long, but probably 100 years then. I think that was able.
And so, so that leaves the lead paint on the remaining part of the building that where, we would replace, as I said, the bottom part is in problem. The top part is tight, it's perfectly good like it was 100 years ago. So we're really objecting to putting a vinyl siding on it. I think we need to fix it a little more original if we can. And I think getting Karen and Scotty would like to see.
Yeah, we have the original files that came off the building commission, like you're saying, I think, Ron saying. So the only real thing is about the paint, scraping the paint back if it's going to be an issue or be a problem or whatever, because it does have to be protected by paint or siding.
Replace the siding back there, we could handle painting that portion, but one of the guys is lead paint certified.
Oh, if we repair the clapboards, you're right.
One of the board members had recommended that the vinyl siding just because the back wall doesn't get any exposure, take care of the longevity of the building. Walker had suggested that, but no, I have a guy on staff that's lead paint certified.
If we could do that and get your bucket trucks and get some leads up here, that'd be great, because it's cedar clapboard down there, it's probably white cedar and they'll last a long time. They're the one that
Sharon knows. She knows if it's paint. Is there, did you need more paint for that?
I don't know if there's, I'd have to talk to the foreman, I don't know if there's anything left or not, or if it was used.
That's all right. If you can paint it, then I'll talk to Sharon and see if she's, got some paint that she can donate, with the finish job.
So you're talking about that green color or the white color?
White.
White.
Yes, the west side, I believe, was white,
It is.
and the back would be white.
How come they went with the cement siding boards on the,
It was a cost thing. The Cheshire builders, they had that. And they offered it to us at a reduced rate because it had to be replaced anyways to be fixed. So that's what we went with. And that's why they said, because that cement siding wasn't ready to begin.
which was in one clapboard that side?
That backside didn't need it.
Okay.
Again, just when we were fixing the front there and the additional. That part ends.
So Mike, did I hear you right? You have a price of 16,000 to paint the building?
He's hoping that, right?
She estimated that that should be the figure that you should accept, or would be acceptable.
Well, we need somebody to actually bid that.
What's that?
We need somebody to bid that.
Let me talk to her some more.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
She said, she did say about that, but I think she thought that somebody put that bid in. And I'll double check.
Nobody put a bid in for 16,000. There was a bid for 50-some-odd thousand, 35,000. And then we reached out to Minkler Painting because they did the library. If Mike Brandley witnessed them painting the library, did a really good job over at the library next to town hall. And we had to take a look at this and provide a quote. There is a quote, but that's 28,000. And that's not the back building, just the main building.
But that wasn't exactly the same way.
No, it was, yeah, it was
One coat, one swap prime, and one coat of paint.
in the library, for example, the library was 26,000 change to there.
She did say that it would be smart to take the pressure wash the building, to get the dirt off every year, and it would last longer. And, I don't know what it would cost to pressure wash the building every year, but that's cheap either. So,
No, especially needing a lift and all.
yeah. But, no, I think the last time that, before we did the big straightening, with Smith, that, it had to be a good 15 years before anybody touched the paint, so. And it wasn't that they didn't pressure wash it and paint it, they did, but it was just, wasn't the right kind of job.
Want to hold off and see if we get that bid?
Yeah, because see, to me, my opinion, is the back of that building is more important right now to fix and paint, and Mike seems, and so it seems like they have a good plan to save money than painting this. I think this could hold back.
Yeah.
And we wait until we get a good price and we concentrate on that back building because it's falling. It's only gonna get worse, am I right? I mean, the boards keep falling down.
Yeah, we never touched the backside of that building when we did.
Yeah, and the guy that's a property owner next to it, pretty upset of that was left like that.
Oh, and-
His fence was ripped down.
Was mainly upset about the fence, I think, but he did point out, and it never got finished.
And it never was painted.
Yeah.
But don't you feel that this is in better shape than that? And then if we're gonna put money into it, we should probably do that back wall.
Probably so, yeah, and this needs spot scraping. As you
Yeah,
can see, some of
right.
the layers hadn't been scraped off in the original paint, just were.
Right, and you guys fixing the soffit, I think that's a great plan.
Yeah, soffit should be fixed in.
I think it's a good idea.
What happened with the back part was there was a lot of trees, and it was walking up against the building. And I think we thought the trees belonged to the neighbor, And so that becomes a problem if they get trees there that they don't want to cut.
Correct.
And they did give
The
us,
mildew, no sun to dry the wall and all that.
they did give us permission to cut the trees to save the back of the building
Makes sense.
and maintain. So that was part of the problem.
All right, thank you. Want to jump ahead to the appointments so we can get some people out of here?
Good news,
Joe DiRusso,
Thank you.
road grader, backhoe, and lawnmower.
Yeah, and we're moving purchases, yeah. So as the board's aware, I've been searching we're slated this year to buy a used grader. I've been searching high and low and to no avail. New graders framed anywhere from $500,000 to $600,000, so I didn't pursue that. But in talking with one of the municipal dealer from Caterpillar, he offered to give me a price on a new one. Kind of didn't want to waste his time. He didn't have that kind of money. And long story short, Caterpillar offers municipality basically 50% off what a contract would pay for it. So spec'd out a grader that similar to ours, but obviously much more modern. And the price came in basically better than what I was seeing some used ones for. So the downside to the grader, wouldn't be able to get the grader this year, get out of order. So we were slated to buy a backhoe next year and the grader this year. I'm suggesting, I've already talked to Steve Bill about that, swapping them. He can buy the backhoe, taking ours to trade this year, and then we can order a grader for next year without any money. At this point, we just have to sign a purchase the sales agreement. So I'm suggesting to do that, to swap those around. There are two options with the grader. When it comes to the controls, there's a standard what's called a rack mount, and there are basically a bunch of controls that control the blade. A cat dealer pointed out to us, Jimmy and I took a ride out to look at a grader in Vermont that is the exact same one we would be getting. He pointed out to us that they make joystick controls now, which is similar to an excavator. He suggested that we should really take a look at that. Unfortunately, it's approximately $21,000 more. Mike Burnley has the exact figures, but he pointed out that first and foremost, running the thing, the safety and the visibility, it's night and day compared to all the handles in front of you. But then he brought up a good point and said the trainability with new operators. And he said pick the 20th car that drives by, you can pull them over. Not grading, but running the machine. It takes years to get good on a grader, but running the machine and punching it. Talked about resale, which really wouldn't apply to us. It's great to last 25 to 30 years. It's well taken care of. So those are the options. They'd be taking our grader and trade, which our grader's not worth a lot of money, and taking our backhoe and trade. They could have a backhoe to us within like 3 weeks. So it would be a matter of swapping those. CIP purchases, buying the backhoe this year, buying the grader this year.
I tell you, what I witnessed was incredible about the difference in these two machines. And we were originally just going to look at the lever, and as we sat there and I got in it, you got a picture of all the levers are up here like this, and it's got a 10 on the side, right? So your arms are up like this, and you got a steering wheel. And I said to the guy, why do they even make these? And he says, it's for the old timers. This is old school stuff. And he says, and to operate this all day and have your arms and your neck and all this, he said, it's incredibly different than you sitting back in the chair with your arms on the rest, grabbing 2 sticks, no steering wheel. And one does the forward and back, one does all the controls. And he said, I can teach a guy in so many hours to actually move this down the road. You take the old school one, it takes you 3 to 4 weeks. Now, picture all those bars going down, like Joe said. You got your windows right here, right? So when you're operating, you kind of look and you can see the dirt coming off. But the old one, you can't. You have to reach, you got it constantly. So they did a test. They put a camera behind the driver, and the guy's head was blocking the camera every second because he's constantly seeing what's happening. Versus the joysticks, you can just sit there and look down through the windows because there's nothing there.
For reference, there's a picture of the control visibility versus open. And the reason why is
Yeah.
all the valves and controls, they change the contours of the cab.
Yeah, and they even said the knobs that are on the top, they show you what each knob does, right? And they have to change the knobs up with people just because the operator still forgets because there's so many handles, so he needs to order knobs because the directions go. To me, for this deep, and the amount of savings is incredible. You think about, he was looking at them, and he showed me 260 per use. So we thought, no way. And the municipality discount brought us to a brand new one. And then he talked about cap, which was another whole thing about, he made sense. He says, you drive down the highway, you look at all the equipment, it's all cap. There's a reason it's cap, because it holds its own. So for this amount of money, I think we come back to because once we get this grade, we're good for 20, 25 years. We put it to bed, it's over. We're not dealing with used. So I think it's a no-brainer on getting that machine if we're going to spend that kind of money, though. The knowledge of, and parts, what about parts, he said?
Yeah, Cat, I've known that back from 30 years ago when I run equipment. Caterpillar stock on inventory on parts is second to none. They have a 95% success rate if you need a part out of the Jeep for the next day. And it's something like 91% if you walk in one of their shops, they have it in stock.
Right, you call up, you say, I'm broke down, you give your number, they take it, in 1 hour, they call you back, they got the solution, they got the part on the way, guaranteed. And Joe was explaining one job he did, he lost the part, he waited 3 weeks for the part, right, Joe, and he had the job down.
In Worcester, we have $4,000 estimated that sat like 3 or 4 weeks for a $35 part.
I just think it's a good investment for the town of Swansea, and then it's something that we'll never bring up again. It's over, and it's got a big warranty, right, Joe?
Yeah, both the Backhoe and the grader come with a 7-year, 2,500-hour warranty. We won't go through the 25 hours and the 2,500 hours in the 7 years.
So that's front to back.
So did Steve, you discussed the.
So Steve just actually sent an email saying he discussed it and he supports it. Like I said, these purchases were already approved by CIP to bring to the board. We're just making the swap and the department lands is possible. The reason we're making the swap is because they can't get us a grader this year. And the Backhoe that would come right away.
I guess we're looking for a motion on the backhoe. All right, motion made and seconded to authorize the expenditure of up to $142,000 to purchase a backhoe from the Highway and Cemetery Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. All in favor, say aye. Aye, the ayes have it. Lawn mowers?
You do the grader as well, so we can get a purchase and sale of the grader on it.
We don't have a motion on that, do we?
Execution of a purchase and sale agreement, as long as it's contingent on, it's gonna have a non-appropriation clause, I can work with one on, just to make sure I'm understanding that we need to get the funding next year. So we'd be looking for a motion.
One question, will you have the funding for it next year, or will it be, it won't be in the, it'll have to be voted on town meeting for next year?
Correct, so it would be contingent on the article passing next year.
Yeah, agree with that.
So we'd be looking for a motion to authorize a purchase and sale agreement for the road grader for 260, is that the 262 for a road grader, subject to town meeting approval. 262,
That's next year with a
road grader.
Mower. So they, with condition that's passed by the public.
Okay, motion made and seconded to authorize the expenditure of up to $262,000 to purchase a road grader from the Highway and Cemetery Equipment Capital Reserve Fund, subject to town meeting 2025.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Amount wouldn't be the full 262. It would be more or less. It would be less than that because we're overage from this year.
We only approved the you approved the lower number on the other one, so now you have to do the higher number on
I
the.
understand, yeah, in terms of going to town meeting.
Oh, correct. It will not be, yeah, it will not be, yeah, right. I think it's 200.
Right.
Lawnmowers?
Lawnmower, yes, the lawnmower was not planned, we just had a major, it's a breakdown on one of the newer lawnmowers, not newer, but it's almost 4 years old, but it's only had 700 hours on it. And hydro drive, like, oh, the hydro drives, they have a special hydro drive on the lawnmower. And the quote I had was just over $5,000 to replace the hydros on it, new mowers around 10, 9, 11. Got a second opinion, and the second opinion verified that their special hydro units, it's only warranted till 500 hours, but it's extremely abnormal for them to go at 700 hours and talk to the numerous landscapers who are getting up to 3,000 hours on it. The crew, Angel and the crew tell me that this mower used from day one, used oil on a regular basis. Good conscience, I can't recommend replacing the hydros on it. And then having something else fail with it to put that kind of money in it. It is essentially, they need 3 mowers. They frequently use all 3, so now we're down to 2.
And you have a Skag already,
Just
so.
recently switched over. The last mower we purchased was a Skag. Crew raves about it. The quality of the cut is much better. It's come recommended from Keene and from some landscapers that Angel spoke to.
So were you afraid that if we put the $5,000 into it, something else makes it go wrong?
That's my
Like
biggest
good money on bad money, is that what you said?
With a mower that's almost 4 years old, and then with the roof down, it's the mowers use oil since day one, which is not normal.
Okay, now it's a motion. Everybody need a lawnmower?
All right, motion made and seconded to authorize the expenditure of up to $11,400 to purchase a lawnmower from the Highway and Cemetery Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Nays? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just while Joe's here before he leaves, if you haven't been down Pine Street, go down and take a look, because they've been moving some material at the property that we purchased last year. It's stark difference, gonna come out really nice, so.
Yeah, last couple of days, we're working with a contractor with Thorne services on regrading, shaping the lot, as we discussed, and result in not having to buy road sand for many, there's more sand there than we anticipated. Especially in the future, if we're gonna look for, we would put an addition on DPW, we'll put a second building there. It's all really good material. I've been pleased. All the stumps are gone and looking a lot better.
So we still have to process this material.
Yeah, screening it will take very, very little. They get the stones, can't put, we were out with too much stones, hard, kick them off, break windows and such.
Is that what you do every year before the winter comes? You make a
Yeah,
pile?
you make a bunch one year last year, and we usually purchase it at anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 for the road sand every year.
That's what we buy every year. And we're looking at maybe 5, 6, 10 years.
I'd say at least 10 is that much too. And then we'll have a lot more in the future, it's gonna be more.
Wow. Something serious.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, Human Resources Coordinator, Sebastian Villacres. Villacres.
Just say it fast.
Say it fast.
First of all, thank you for having me here. I met all of you individually, but as a formal introduction, my name is Sebastian Villacres. I am your Human Resources Coordinator, brand new to the town of Swanzey. When I just started about 3 months ago, I had a lot to learn, a lot of members to meet. And when I first introduced myself to the organization, I wanted to really get to know the employees, the good, the bad, and the ugly. As part of meeting the organization, I conducted what is known as a stay interview. That's similar to an exit interview where you ask a standardized set of questions to the employees to get their idea on what's working, what's not working, what we could do better. I met with all full-time employees at the town hall, including both the town clerks. The part of this, the objective of these questions is really to identify from the employees themselves what we could do better as an employer, what's working and what is something that we can work on. All the questions and the answers will remain anonymous, and that was disclosed to the employees just so they could answer truthfully and they don't have to fear any repercussions from this. So from this 10 questions, I identified a couple of trends. The first question that we asked was, what are your long-term professional plans? I'm happy to say that 90% of the employees did mention that their long-term plan is to stay in the town of Swanzey as their employer. The second question that I asked is, do you have any work-life balance in the town of Swanzey? This was a great response from the team, as we got 70% responded with positive, yes, they have work-life balance in the town of Swanzey. This is great numbers, especially as the US benchmark is about 60%. Definitely some room for us to improve upon, but definitely some good numbers to begin with. The third question was, what do you like most about your job? You know, just given the nature of the job that's done in the town, some of the answers might be obvious, but 70% of employees claim that they enjoy having that impact on their community. Another great answer that most of the employees gave, about 70% of the employees mentioned that they do like leadership, meaning the selectman and Mike, the town administrator, in the sense that they feel like they are accessible, especially given the layers of their organization. As being a municipality, it's great to see that employees feel like they could come to you for questions and answers. This is where we could have the most impact. One of the questions is, if you could change one aspect of your job, what would it be? And given that this is an open-ended question, not really suggesting towards anything, I was surprised to see that most people answer about the same. 80% of employees reported that our varied schedule, especially ending late on Monday, was one of their biggest problems they had with their schedule, especially when it came down to planning their week, childcare issues, or taking care of a sick or relative. So that's something that we could definitely work on. And part of me presenting this data is to ask you if I'm willing to work with the town employees as well as the town clerk, would you guys be open to revise the hours for the town office?
Would you expand on that?
Yes, so they're looking to have a more standardized schedule without as much flux. I did not get a lot of bad answers regarding Monday starting early, but I got a lot of pushback from Monday ending late. At 6 p.m., I believe most employees come in at 8:30 and leave at 9:30 and leave at 6, and many of them conflict with their childcare issues or taking care of a relative. So about 80% of them did mention that was something they wanted to be looked at.
So you're saying, Sebastian, that they would like to see you come in early and leave early?
Yeah, primarily.
And Mondays is the only day that we do stay that late?
That's right. That's right. And, you know, I know we understand that we have a responsibility to the public, but they also feel as they actually miss more on people coming in the morning. They have people waiting in the morning, waiting to come in, rather than people coming late at night trying to get an appointment in. So this is something that I'm willing to work with the town clerk, Mike, and the town employees to figure something out, present to you guys for approval, if that's something you guys are willing to consider.
Did anyone explain to you why we went to that schedule?
They gave me a little bit of the historical knowledge on it based on issues regarding availability to the public. Yes, and that's why it's something that I want to work as a whole team rather than leaving it up to one person. Perfect. And the other is, the last question is, how can HR better help you? Given that this became its own position as an HR coordinator, I wanted to see what's something that I could do better for the town employees. Altogether, for the most part, 80% of employees said that they need more help with benefits, whether this meant understanding benefits better, having more access to benefit information, or just having more options. That's something for me to work on, especially as it comes to open enrollment down the line. Perfect.
So what are your thoughts with regard to work-life balance? How do we improve that?
There are multiple answers to that. Some suggestions would be see what other trends are doing. A lot of organizations that have the capabilities for it are going into a hybrid schedule, where possible, going to work half and half from home, half from the town. I know this was an option back in the day when we closed office hours and employees were able just to catch up with their administrative work. That's something for me to look into because there wasn't one defined answer why that was the case, given that everybody had their own reason why they didn't feel like they had a work-life balance. And just my long-term plans. My goal as an HR professional is really to make the town of Swanzey the employer of choice, meaning that when an employee tells a family or a friend, hey, I work at the town of Swanzey, their immediate response is, how do you get that job? I want that job. That's going to take a lot of policy management down the line. That's going to take unifying the teams. I believe currently the departments operate in their own silos, and bring them together under one town of Swanzey would really just standardize the processes for everybody. Some of my projects include improving upon our hiring and onboarding process. We currently have some outdated systems when it comes to background checking. We hire an employee, and it takes us a little bit to get their background checks. How do I improve upon those processes to make it faster, better for us, but also improve the employee experience? That's all that I have. Any questions?
Or things that Sebastian hasn't mentioned that you want to make sure he's working on, or?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm pretty impressed, Sebastian, and I think you're pretty close to your goals. I've been looking at these skills, they're pretty impressive to me, right? I mean, I
Good numbers to work with.
these are really, you do have room, but I mean, not a lot, but I just, huh? We? Yeah.
He's gonna be coming to us, making suggestions.
No, but I just think you did it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and it gives us some good information. I just wanted to compliment him on that.
Thank you.
So, great job.
Thank you.
Well, you can bump that up to 90% by doing a fractile response and taking out 10% of the highs, 10% of the lows.
Oh, the one good thing
And you'd
you
have
mentioned
90%.
on the first one, from the people that plan to stay in organization long term, the people that mentioned, no, the 10% were actually planning on retiring. So it's not, thankfully, it's not that we're losing it to another organization, but so it's definitely a great number, even better.
I'd be interested in knowing what other towns do as far as town hall office hours for registrations, paying taxes, things like that. If there's one night a week that works for extended hours.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to look into that.
Why, on the table at some time, could I ask the question, would you brought up on what was the decision on the Monday thing? There was a reason for that? Could you quickly explain to me?
Just people that work 70 per hour town couldn't make it.
We'll see you want
And then Friday, they open early and leave early. Nobody complains about Friday, right?
So just on Friday.
It's pretty, I'll echo what Jim said, and Slice, amazing to put this together.
Thank you.
Great work.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Get out of here before they change their mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You don't get to shake his hand.
Yeah, I see them.
All right, you want to back up to the, sorry, why don't we do Police Chief Joe Gonsalves? Good evening.
Chief.
So would you like to discuss Sawyers Crossing first? Okay, so we've been doing directed patrols for the last 3 weeks or so. We encountered about, I would say, 21 motor vehicle stops. Possibly 10 to 12 warnings have been issued for speeding, and 1 citation for speeding. So it's not too unusual considering the road. We've got other roads that are similar, so.
The new name, it's fresh new.
Yeah, that kind of makes things even worse, so. Any questions?
So you think that's comparison to other roads to what you found out? Is that what you're saying?
I would say pretty
Not
much
just done on the higher end?
no.
My question is, there was 2 problems on this road, not just the speeding, it was trailers and everything going over that bridge. When did we come up with that? Did we notice that?
The occasional occurrences where we found mostly vehicles with trailers. There's been some trucks that are probably should be on that bridge. It's an ongoing issue.
Was there a black and white by the Gonsalves that didn't have anybody in it? Did you try this park in the car there?
We could do that if you like.
I don't know, I went by it, and it was, it's occupied.
Did that? I don't recall. No.
I know one of them was at, where it's,
That's incredible idea.
Bruce software and still people there.
That's unbelievable, Si. I never even heard of that. That's really what I would imagine it would work.
So we did.
Well, Mike's time paint the doors or something, didn't
So obviously we can't keep doing it. So without paying attention to all the other, so what other funds do you have that would stall traffic down? I saw you had something about a grant or a sign, which I happen to find very effective.
Sure. So that was one of the recommendations that made by a few people, speed limit signs that have radar installed inside them. So it tells you the speed that you're traveling. Those stationary signs. So there are no federal grants for those type of instruments. There are state grants, but they cover radar units, the handheld vehicle units. They also cover trailer radar signs. And they have very specific guidelines on the use of those signs. And it's a two-tier grant system. You have to apply for the overall highway transportation, state highway transportation grant, which requires officers to work overtime outside their regular 40 hours to do traffic enforcement, which is basically reference to DUIs, distracted driving, you can't cell phone usage while driving, and also speeding. So we would have to log somewhere between 68 hours annual overtime by the officers. Seeing really low as far as hourage, because they do require monthly, not monthly, but quarterly reports. So I thought it was more like on a quarterly basis. But I spoke to one of the directors at the Concord Highway Department. And he said it was 68, but I could hear in his voice that he would like to see much more than 68 hours.
The officers have to work additional. How's that fun?
They will compensate you for that. So the funding isn't an issue. It's the officers to work that overtime would be the issue.
So that leads to the hour subject, I think. So it's 68 hours over the course of the year.
Allegedly.
So an hour and a half a week. Hour subject on day.
The officers, they don't like working overtime. And it's a discussion I had with one of the directors of the highway department, which he knows as well as most chiefs that many officers do not like to work overtime. And he's very familiar with Chester County, and he's had discussion with other chiefs, and they had the same kind of issues.
So in terms of getting a sign that would interact with the public, what are we looking at for us?
Well, you have to get a trailer sign similar to one that the highway department has, that also has a radar system inside that records, that makes recordings of vehicles going and coming. And this way, the state needs that data. We can either get one of those, which are more expensive, or we can get a small one that most police departments have that can be easily towed from location to location, because one of the requirements is that they be moved from location to location. All this needs to be documented and submitted in the quarterly reports.
If we fund it ourselves, we have the same requirements.
No.
So what would the cost be?
Well, they're pretty expensive. They could run anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000.
Or solar power?
Yes.
What's the light stuff?
Well, I had one at my old police department, and we had that for several years. I mean, we didn't have any major issues with it, but the battery eventually will go, and that's the costly part.
That's meaningful. Isn't there like a speed limit sign on a post that goes up, not a big one, and it flashes the speed limit, right? And it's a solar thing and stuff.
Sure.
Instead of the trailer mount, don't they have that similar to those, right?
They do.
Yeah, because I've seen them before.
And that would cost you somewhere between $3,000 or $4,000 or more. They have all different models that you can get.
It's not great. Only the trailer mount, the handheld, it's great. Yeah,
And if we bought that and put it in the ground and solar, and we set it up, you know, in the middle of it, you know, and we paid for it. And we just set it up, and set it in the trailer, we don't have to move it. Now that is stationary, that saves you. Because I'm a little surprised in what he's saying too, because I watched Troy, and you know that section coming from 119? That sign is always there. That stays there for 6 months at a time. It slows me down every time I hit it. You know what the area was talking about? No. Joe, how do you feel about that street? Do you feel we do have some problems on that road? Yeah.
Not any more than what we have at many other roads. So what I would be probably concerned about is if you do it for one, you're gonna have to do it for many others.
You mean other people that live in the streets are gonna say, oh, you put a speed limit in, now we need one there?
Yes. So if you're willing to do that, then I'm good with it. I don't have any issues or problems with it.
Yes.
Bridget Sullivan, if the police are visible, it will make people slow down, so that might be material accepting the issue. So
They park right across from our homes, I think, in Sullivan, which is great. We appreciated that. So, no,
yeah, it was lovely.
people slowed down, so it was a very visible position of the police car. Came around the corner, you saw a police car down the road. So the fact that they were pulling anybody over was a Saturday.
So yeah, that's like street data or something.
Could Beverly just have your name and address for the?
Bridget Sullivan, and Nathan Sullivan, 1.4, Sawyers Crossing. I'm sorry,
Nathan Richard from Bridget Sullivan.
Sullivan, thank you.
Thank you.
And I would also know that they were, again, we appreciate it very much. Most of these, the time that the cops were patrolling our road were midday, we never patrolled during evening hours at 7:29 a.m. where it's the worst.
Although I did see one person while I was at my office facing the street, and the cop was sitting there, and the person was like flying right by the cop. Wow, they didn't really do that.
Did you have multiple officers out there or one?
We usually
Change it up?
one officer.
So one officer patrolled this whole procedure?
No, not extensively. We changed officers within their patrol.
Lisa?
So I can't see around the corner up to where your house is. I can only see the bridge and to the corner, and I can hear them as they go racing at your speed. And I agree with you, 7 to 9 a.m., pretty bad, pretty bad. And I'm not sure if any of you were aware. I think you talked about the signs at the bridge and how on my side of the bridge, they've changed that to the yield sign. And honestly, that's probably caused more problems because people are being nice, some people, and yielding. And the traffic is backing up behind them and they're honking their horns and swearing. There are people who pull out and try and go 2 at a time through the bridge because they don't want to yield. This past Sunday, I was watering flowers in front of my house. I watched two-way traffic going through because the motorcycle on the other side thought, yeah, I can fit, let's go. So there was two-way traffic. And probably, Chief can tell you better than I can, a couple of weeks ago, there was a fall because someone flashed a gun at someone else who yielded to traffic. And they didn't want to be waiting, so they flashed the gun. So, yeah, from my part of the corner down, I've never seen any speed enforcement there. It's 15. all that beautiful paving we have, guess what can give you the equipment? Right through the bridge. Tell me that equipment weighs less than 6,000 pounds. I called the state DOT. They said I have to call our local police department to enforce the weight. Here we are.
Did you do that?
Did I call the local? No, because I knew I was coming in.
Was that just recently happened?
Last Friday.
They're working today too, doing the edges of the road.
Picnic area. And if they're going to work on my side of the bridge, they're gonna drive all that stuff right through the bridge tomorrow morning. And I'm happy to go out and take pictures. And I'm happy to set my cameras back up. And the occasional overweight truck and trailer, I'm sorry, I have a big problem with that because I can send you hundreds of pictures. And I can date stamp them and time stamp them, and I can date and time stamp on the police brokerage building. They're not there. But Maple Hill Nursery goes through. There's a Spectrum truck, you're lucky on it, that goes through every single day. There's a T-Rex or some other bucket truck that goes through every day. Garwall landscaping, every day. Dump trucks, loaded with wood. It's wood delivery time. Always through that bridge. Who's the other local one? Naya? Naya from Base Hill Road? Every day. Dump trucks through the bridge. So to say, oh, this is the occasional one. I'm sorry, I have a problem with that, and I can use pictures. And I guess the only other thing of note is, and I don't know for sure I didn't see this, but I saw it on Facebook. Someone was commenting on how there's now bucket trucks going to the Carlton Road Bridge.
Yeah, I think they're pulling cable through or something, or,
Through the bridge.
no, but they're stretching cable on Carlton Road, and they said the bucket truck went through with the bucket all the way out.
Yeah, so they can,
I read that.
but it's still over 6,000 pounds. And that
And
paving,
you're saying the Collins doesn't have this problem that we have over with this bridge?
No, they all do.
they
Oh, they-
all do. We don't have any enforcement. And I've never, ever, well, one time, I think last year, seen a cruiser sitting on a causeway, watching the bridge and watching the speed. That doesn't happen. It's 15 miles an hour in front of us. Nobody checks the speed.
Sounds like we have more work to do.
So I
I was already, well, Joe said it, but he did bring up a good point. They see the cruiser, they're gonna slow down. Joe might not have gotten accurate, saw what we would have seen. It is a good argument, and I have to say, if I pull into that road, or the cop first thing, I'm gonna slow down, I'm not gonna speed. So you gotta give them that, it's accurate, you know, so I'm not sure if the police got an accurate look at what they're saying. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I'm sorry, I feel very strongly that we do have a major problem going over that bridge, and I do still feel that there is speeders on that road, and I know Joe tried, and I know he did what we asked him to do, but I just don't think Joe
He wants
can
to stay
solve
there
this
forever.
right now. Huh?
If he wants to stay there forever.
Right.
I didn't hear you, I apologize.
If he wants to stay there like for good, it'll.
No, and I understand Joe has a lot of against him to put somebody else in and stuff like that, and he did do what we asked, you know, he did a great job, but you gotta say that they might have not got the real, you know, versus if I was sitting over there in my regular car, just sitting there, you know, sitting on my phone, what would have happened, right?
You are welcome to come sit in my driveway anytime you want.
We were aware when there was a police cruiser out there because you're like, oh, I bet you they're watching because.
Oh, no.
So if I go on and look down the road and there's a police going down the road, because all of a sudden, hey, you want to go 30, 30 again.
Right.
But you saw the difference.
We saw the difference. I mean, I've seen the cruisers out there. I tell my wife, and I go look out there and the cruiser was down the street, or you just right across the street.
And plus, people like flash their light at each other too. It's all up. The people coming this way with dollar from someone.
You know, we all gotta sit here and figure this problem out, but we gotta understand Joe's side too. We all can complain, but he has so many offices, he has so much money, he has so many roads, you know, so we have to figure out ways to fix this and.
What if you wrote some tickets and we wouldn't get out? What if they wrote some tickets on speeding and going over that bridge? And the word would get out, it'd be a way of getting the word out and not gonna let that happen because, you know, we're gonna start putting stop. Maybe the word would get out and stuff.
I think that would help with the locals who would use it. There's so many people who come down the road following their GPS that they don't pay any attention. And I let some guy turn around in my driveway, get that all front lawn, he almost took the wires down, but he had to turn around. And he didn't have a choice. But I gotta say, from the stuff I see on my cameras, it's a lot of local abuse. It's not the out-of-towners, it's the locals.
I honestly don't think that, I think we could stop the trucks going over the bridge if we did just bite the bullet, spend some money, pay someone to sit there and monitor it for 2 or 3 weeks and give tickets and give fines, and that's it. Put our foot down. We do it for 3 weeks, and we stop. First, let's get the trucks and everything stop going on the bridge. Because it's costing the town, when we paid it how many times? 7 times? It was right, it was 6, 7 times. I think we should bite the bullet and put something there. Either we hire security or something to sit them there and watch that bridge. And I'm not saying Joe, and I'm not saying his boys, but I really think you have to let Swanzey know, because what they just said to me is these people live around here, they go over it every day. Every day, you're saying to me, right? So we give this company a ticket, that eliminates them. They ain't coming back. They got a ticket and one. They're out, right? That, I think.
Can we get any help from the sheriff's department or anything?
I would try.
And it's a state road, maybe state police.
Very thought.
You did. Thank you, Joe, for doing what you did. I mean, we understand the situation we're in, and we appreciate it. You did exactly what we asked, but I do feel, Joe, we do have a lot of big trucks to over that bridge. I believe them. I mean, she's sitting here and she can take pictures and prove it to us, and I'm sure she could. I really believe you're right. I see it. I've seen it. And I think that we just need to put down our foot and just say, this is it, whatever it is. And somehow, if we have to spend whatever right now, we might get it back on repairs bill on the bridge, that we're not repairing it. I don't know.
Well, I think we need something else besides that bridge at that location. That bridge cannot handle all that traffic. There needs to be some sort of strategy going forward, long-term, and it needs to be coordinated with the state. Try to get an actual bridge that can facilitate the traffic that comes and goes from Keene. That's a beautiful bridge, but it wasn't designed to handle all that traffic.
Probably found, right? A lot more cars on the road.
Could we make it pedestrian only? And then have everyone do the key down through?
I don't know how that's gonna go over.
Well, up in Langdon, they moved the road, put a real bridge and left the covered bridge on the side or moved it over. So you drive on the regular road, you can see the covered bridge, or ride your bicycle through it or whatever.
But then we're gonna turn our neighborhood into an industrial, like, movement.
It would be the same on Chapter, but what Joe's saying, that it would be safer, right? Oh, the traffic works over, right? That was
I mean, it's feasible for heavy trucks to go over, then you can expect heavy trucks to go over. So it is what it is.
Slippery mower off the arch.
We can do that. Hopefully, video cameras will be forthcoming soon because
Well, they are allowing us to, like Lisa's, the pictures are great. We can't do anything with them. We're not legally able to do anything. So the only thing the cameras allow us to do, if I understood Michael correctly, is if some vehicle damages the bridge, we can use it for that.
Yes.
But if we've got dump trucks going over, we can't do anything. So what if we lower it? We just brought the facade down. another foot or a foot and a half. It would allow any passenger vehicle could get through. Sure. But it would stop anybody with a bucket. Sure. Would work.
To add to that thought, if you could block off the walkway, because there are so many, I mean, all the traffic kids from the high school run through that bridge. There's no sign saying yield to pedestrians or horses or bicycles. All of those are going through that bridge at the same time as all of this traffic.
It's wasn't a few or Michael that talked about sign.
Yeah, so
To accomplish that goal.
If you lowered the top end, if you added a walkway, that's kind of narrow it down, following it past.
Isn't there a bridge in Vermont that has 8x8s that create a lane?
I never.
I seem to remember going over a bridge. Is it Putney? Where it's literally a one-lane bridge. You can't, because it's an 8x8, so you're not going to bounce that with one of your undercarriage, and that might leave room on the side to accomplish.
And that would keep the bridge open to local traffic, the passenger vehicles, which is what it's supposed to be for.
Right.
And the bigger stuff would have to go some.
So the other piece of it is getting DOT in to talk with them, because they've been a pushback of all the signage that they wanted to put up. They finally gave us at least the yield sign, which I didn't quite get that one, but at least they allowed us to. What was the sign they were going to apply for? They at least opened the door.
Yeah, I think
Where
the
before it was
signs
always
just made it more chaotic, because it's chaos from that 7 to 9, and then the evening, it's chaos. Because people are so impatient.
Is your side where you have to stop? The other side's supposed to go right through? How was the proper way?
The other way.
Has to stop.
Well, maybe I'm on the wrong, what side does she live on?
Her side is
This side. Huh?
is the drive. Her side is the drive.
My side has.
Oh, so the big
yields.
field in the red house there in the field, that, you live on that side?
No, she's right where the yield sign is. She lives right where the yield.
So if I'm going to Keene, I can drive right across that.
Right.
And the other side is.
There's a stop sign.
So it's,
Right.
and now this bridge where the fire station is, well, it gets there first, stops, right? So why are they different? Why ain't they like that? How did that all?
We've been asking that question for
It
years.
would make more sense to have a stop on each side.
Yes, sir.
Because when people actually
Because that's the
stop,
reason I've been yelled at, but way back in the day, and I never used to go over that, and I was right about the guy on the other side, what are you doing? You're supposed to, and I didn't realize it until.
and now it's people yelling, you're not supposed to stop, you just yield. And
I'm just surprised I didn't like all the other
someone
covered bridges.
flashing a gun because someone yielded. I mean, it's chaos at the bridge.
On the plus side,
Yeah.
if they don't go through that bridge, they'll come up through North Swansea. And we have enough traffic up there.
You can handle it.
You got a roundabout.
Yeah, whoop-dee.
It works. Well, it's obviously a multifaceted challenge. Staffing. We have that problem. Certainly with Mill Road qualifies, South Road qualifies, 32 qualifies.
Hale Hill, after we paved that,
Oh, yeah.
that was a
All
speedway.
speedways. So
But it's a few grand to put on all those speedways in town. What do you think? Is that really that much, do you think? That it'll,
what, I didn't hear you.
a few grand to put like the small signs on all the speedways in town?
Well, no,
That-
it's a few thousand for each, actually could be 8 to 10,000 for each, so that's, and I think the grant, as you mentioned, requires that they be moved around. So all I'm saying is it's a multifaceted problem, it's not as simple, and we just unfortunately have the police chief to shoulder the burden, but come up with a plan of what we can do.
What's wrong with the idea, Joe, of you getting one of your police officers to get some chickens out going on the bridge? Can we get possible? Sure. Can they get?
He can, we can't.
Yeah, it's not really, it's not really the selectmen to direct.
Out there, there's a fine, you know, the police are.
It's under the chief's purview to, we don't say, oh, you go persecute this crime, or it's separation of powers kind of, right, chief? In terms of the actual, like, you give a ticket for this and you don't give a ticket for that, that's within his, and the officer, I mean, mainly it's the officer's discretion, you the moment of the call, but.
Have we ever given the ticket out in 2 years to somebody going over there?
I would think so.
The other legislation was to increase the fines. I don't know when that was going to be effective, but fines are increasing significantly for going over the bridge without, if you're not an adequate or appropriate vehicle. So maybe when that law changes, it's the time to do the maybe publicized enforcement push. Well, I think that was January 1, but I'm not sure. Some $500 tickets or something will get more excitement than a $60 ticket.
You can put an easy pass on it.
Make this whole road.
Just because had a real bad situation this past July. There've been a couple of fatalities and a couple of really bad injuries. And they now have a cruiser, must be an old one, with a dummy inside. Now that doesn't work for locals who will soon recognize that, or anybody coming through on Route 9 from somewhere else will slow down. They also have a sign at the bridge when we're coming in from Vermont that says Chesterfield Police enforce all traffic laws. Slow down. And I drive it all the time. From here, for example, I'm coming to Keene groceries, and the traffic is going much slower. They're also been out in force with the state police giving out speeding tickets. And a week ago, they did 31 stops and gave out 13 citations for speeding. So all that combination of what they've been doing has helped slow down the traffic considerably.
Joe, what's the strategy to find a legit asset instead of giving warnings, giving actual citations? What is the I kind of understand, but I'm not sure. But what would be the rationale for giving a warning as opposed to an actual citation?
Well, again, it's officer discretion. So the officer takes it upon himself to make a decision, is this person deserving of a citation or not, or just a warning. So I could direct them to be a little less lenient for warnings and be more forceful with issuing the citations.
It'd be interesting as he said, if we took a 3 or 4 week period, really made the push, would it make a difference? And it's not just your department. I think we need to get Franklin coming from the state or whoever he designates to talk to them about a request for signage. They should be, obviously we didn't accomplish it with the speed limits. But signage would be so helpful, because we need their approval for these other signs anyway. We can't just put a sign on any state road. We have to have their permission. It seems like we make a comprehensive approach between enforcement and working on the bridges and to make them less safe for some of the larger vehicles. And with the additional citations and all, if they saw that it was a coordinated effort, maybe they would join with us, trying to make it a safer passageway, which would make your job a lot easier into the future.
Yes, sir.
So what happens? You give a citation. How does the process move from there? What other, is it something, if someone gets a citation, would they go to court?
No, they did not. He's never got a speed ticket.
Honestly, I don't want to say this. We know what tomorrow's going to bring, but it really truly has been a long time. Not that they didn't deserve it.
They can just pay the fine.
You can just pay. They don't have on your court.
What kind of fine would you get for that if you had to give a fine?
I have to look it up, but
For speeding or the bridge?
The bridge, of the way.
Bridge is, I think, not following a sign, and I think it was maxed at like $60 or $70.
yes.
When we're talking about the legislation to change it, it's like comically small. We could find.
And that goes to the general fund of the state. That doesn't, so.
It goes to pay for the academy. There is the use. Yeah. It goes into a fund. It doesn't go to us.
So, as far as the case though, what's the fine for towing across the bridge? I worked there for 27 years and no one could ever tell me what the fine was. It's the town ordinance for towing something across the bridge, so we don't know what the fine is. So that's why those people get warnings, because there's no fine associated with the town ordinance saying you can't tow anything across the bridge. So that's why people don't
Like, we'll look into that.
warnings for that. As far as tickets go, if you give us a citation, you have the right to go to trial if you want to contest it. If you do, first they have mediations. You go to mediation where a prosecutor from the regional prosecutor's office will go ahead and look at your record, talk to you, what do you want to do? You want to plead guilty or not guilty? If you want to still plead not guilty, then they send another court date and you go back and forth. You can't fight the ticket. It's just that on automatic, you're going to pay the fine.
27 years, you said, how many tickets you give out for somebody going over the bridge?
None. I mean, for going across the bridge,
Never.
never knew what the fine was. Never knew. And I stopped them all the
I
time.
personally think that's our problem.
You know, I stopped them all the time.
We've never gave citations over going over the bridge. I think we should change it immediately. And I think the word would get out. I think the word would get across Swansea. Now the police are giving out citations for going overweight. And the word would spread, at least would slow down the locals that you guys are claiming that are going over there. I think we'll see immediate change.
And the fine is
My opinion.
not just for damaging the bridge, it's for.
It's for, not going over the
There is a fine associated with the town ordinance. So even win-win.
There's no fine associated with the town ordinance.
Is that something we can implement after a public hearing? And that money would stay with the town? So we could, first offense is $500, second offense is $1,000.
I don't remember what the county says about it.
Well, $1,000 for potential, we're not talking about side bills, we're talking about the infrastructure, having to deal with the beams and just replace the decking.
All right, this one's
So, are there any restrictions on our ability to impose a fine?
Yes, there was a scheme. I don't recall what it was, $600 or $700, just sticking in my head with that. But maybe it was somewhere in there.
So the
It's not
first offense is $250, whatever, something like that. We could stagger it up. Right.
And they can still go to court on that too. We've written a fine for open container, town ordinance, and they still can fight that. So they'd be able to fight this in court as well.
They would, but there'd be a lot of public embarrassment for a local company.
Oh, absolutely, but I'm saying they still have that right. It's not an absolute, you're gonna get your money. And, but the judge will still end up deciding on whether even though it's capped at, like say it's capped at 500, he can issue a lower fine, so.
Sure. But if we'd had that,
Oh, absolutely, but
you would have issued the
I
fine.
wouldn't issue it.
Sure. Because we're jerking.
What's your opinion about, Joe? You think we're not stern enough on overweight trucks going over there? Do you think that would be? What do you think? In all your experience of being a police officer, do you feel when you enforce something like that with tickets, does it help, or we just shoveling sand against the
Pendulum. It works for a while, it alleviates, and then it comes back.
It just seems to me, Joe, we're all sitting here tonight talking about if something does happen, like Bill says, and we're not gonna act on this. I don't wanna be a part of it. I think this is serious enough to act on, and I think we should try to do something. And I think Billy, we have to be a little direct on it. Unfortunately, we're probably gonna get sacked from people, but.
So, no, what this is.
I got a pickup truck, I can go over it.
So how can we work with you to move this forward? I know it's a lot of different aspects of it.
Fine, as far as the local town owners would help. I think it would help in the long run and the short run. So I think that's a good avenue to go down. Altering the height for the bridge to restrict larger vehicles from crossing. Don't know what the expense with that would be, but I think that's a good avenue to take also. Possibly narrowing the access in and out of the bridge might help also. So, I mean, there's quite a few things that we have to address, and only so much resources we can throw at it, so.
One thought that came up at the previous meeting was for putting in alley beams prior to the actual entrance to the bridge. Of course, we need to get approvals to do it because it's their road, but that would certainly deter someone before they actually hit the bridge.
They wrote an issue with the people who was asked to the bridge.
But I think if we, so we can work on some of those, or you can work on some of that. What's the timing on this for a lot of clients in town of Whitcomb?
I'd have to check, it's some town ordinances are different, so I don't know if I assume it requires a public hearing, I don't know if it's a separate barrier or any publics.
So by October, we could potentially have somebody on the balance.
And the new law, state law, will that be?
So the cameras are checked in those county firms, and don't put it something like that, if the fines will change, they can put that possible. We can reflect that change.
But the cameras, you just said, do we already have cameras on them? We would have to install them. And what is the big thing about September 1st? Soon, now that we get the cameras, we can look back.
The legislation allows us to put cameras on.
You can identify them before it hits the bridge.
That hits the bridge.
But that had to come from the state legislature.
And you mentioned signage on the front of the bridge. Is there any way, we have a shed that Chesterfield, they put signage, like where we put sign fines will be, like something to do with fines for people over this bridge? We do stuff like that, are we able to do that? Blue signs that say we are going to enforce fines now for all the ways.
Well, the bridge is ours, but the law is theirs.
Okay.
So can you reach out to Frank and just talk with him about whether he'd be willing to come or send someone in?
Who's Frank?
Frank Lenny-Breyer is the
District that he would do it.
district assistant for DOT.
What
Would it be John then?
No, I think he's in charge of the traffic commissioner. They're asking him to come to a board meeting?
Yeah, or have a conversation with him, give him a full understanding of what we're trying to do in terms of radar, motion, signage, white lit signs, like Jim said, flexified on the signs,
gas lights that up through the bridge.
plastic. And it's a thought, turn left here.
That's right.
So just.
This would be for all the bridges and Thorne, all the covered areas.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are open, like this one was only local, there's no state, pretty much state down there, town, so. I think our main issue is Sweet for just Cresson because of the amount of traffic.
Is there someone we can reach out to so that tomorrow morning that paving equipment is on the bridge?
What equipment?
The paving equipment.
It's on the bridge? Who's the one?
It's been going through the bridge, but it's parked right now at Picnic Street.
Oh, thank you.
So tomorrow morning, I presume they're going to use it.
Be friendly, probably.
Aren't they all done the paving over there?
Yeah, they're doing the edge and we're putting gravel on the side of the road.
Michael can reach out to Allstate too. Wouldn't be in time for this, but they did punch on the during the line. Can't believe it right now.
Thinking about the other alternative, they want to just do the other side, they gotta. Pain in the ass.
It's our bridge.
It's our bridge, you're right, John.
Anything else for us?
Just a quick review of Manny. Give you an update. So we did lose Officer Joe Such a couple months ago. He moved his family from the state of Washington. We did hire a part-time certified officer several months ago, if you're aware of it. She was out of law enforcement for a period of time. She works in Massachusetts full-time. Like, she came on board, works about 20 hours for us on weekends. She's been working out very well. She's in the FTO program right now, but it's a slow process because she is part-time. But all of her evaluations have been very good. So we've been trying to entice her to come on board full-time. So hopefully that happens sometime in the near future.
See her another job?
Yes. So we'll see. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Thanks to Sebastian, we got several applicants. We interviewed them, and a couple look very promising. Thank you for those initial offers. We did background checks on those two individuals. One didn't pan out. The information he gave us during the initial interview didn't really reveal some of the issues that we found in his background. So we had to eliminate him as a candidate. The second one seems pretty strong. We're able to squeeze him into the police academy. He started Monday. So we're very thankful for that. So hopefully it works out. He's expected to graduate in November. Then he starts his FTO program. So someone can meet in 2 weeks. Takes several months to a year to put him on board full time.
What do you mean by the field officer?
Field training,
Field training.
Yeah.
And how long does they field training for?
about 3 months.
3 months, and that's what another officer? They
Yes.
with somebody.
Yes, correct.
Then they, after the 3 months, and you give them the okay, the field training's over, they can go on their own.
Correct.
So the whole process of this from school to then is what?
Well, first you have the application period.
Right.
So you have to vet that person out, make sure he's a good applicant, select him, wait for the academy, goes to academy, so that's about 4 months. And we have the FTO program, it's about 3 months.
Wow, so it's a long process, too.
Yes, sir.
It's close to a year.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So all we can do is hope and pray that we get a certified officer somewhere down the road.
Right, to walk in and leave another town and the certified officer's all set, ready to go. He can come right in, right?
Correct, but you still have to have a field training program.
Even with a certified officer?
Yes, we want to make sure that he's familiar with how we do things in the town. Just don't want to let someone loose who's not familiar with the town and how we do things. So, they have to go through a program as well.
Do you feel we're enticing officers to come to Swansea, or do you feel that we're missing something, that we are not getting officers to Swansea in any means? Or is it money? Is it money?
I just think it's the environment that we live in today. I can't really see too many people wanting to do police work.
It's all over the country. It's not Swansea.
Everyone's struggling. I'd say LAPD is down 30%. And we're talking thousands. So, and they get paid very well. It's just the environment we're in today. Also, we had a meeting with the superintendent of schools, Dana. We got to inform him that we could not support the SRO program as we're currently banned. He took that hard because they're all there at the school department, enjoy having an officer in the school system. I think it's a very valued program, and I hate not to support it, but my priority is the town first, and getting the officers, the patrol officers, and the needs that we have currently. So, as we're constituted presently, we really can't afford to give them an officer. So, but I told them as soon as we can, we'll send an officer over there to support that program.
What do you think, in January, or?
That's a possibility. Of course, if we happen to come across a certified officer, then we have to expedite that program, get somebody over as soon as we can. But you're correct, we did in January.
So we supplied an officer to school, now we can. How many hours was that, Joe?
40 hours,
40-hour week.
pretty much. Some of these hours.
So the officer we had there, you put him out on the road then, we can't, so you say to them, we don't have a guy to sit there all day, I need him out on the road.
Well, he doesn't sit there all day, but yeah, he's active
I know.
in the school system, but we now need officers to respond to calls.
Wow.
What's our staff?
We're maintaining, we're fine as we are now, but
12?
yes. Where do we need to move? At least 14, I would say 15.
And that's what we need to be able to support, yes.
So just, if we got one more officer, we'd be in a better position.
So when you come in with your budget, are you going to be indicating that we need to get 15?
I could, I would like to.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just curious if we're understaffed.
I mean, we could manage with 14, but I
Process.
would never say no to 15.
Could one of the other district towns maybe supply an officer for 3 months?
We could inquire. Again, it takes time to get accustomed to the routines there. So it's not something that someone can pick up in a few days, we can get a few weeks, but once they're accustomed to what the routine entails, they should be okay. Again, they do like to kind of review the person that we're submitting to be in the school system. Obviously, they want to make sure it's a good match. Obviously, it would be an officer that I'm familiar with. So we'd have to rely on whatever information his department or department would have on that person. Then meet with the superintendent, the principal of the school, have them meet the officer. And then you'll have to make a decision whether it's good for them, it's good for them.
Is this the first time we're not gonna have an officer at the school?
No, we'll just resume this program not too long ago.
We didn't have
2
it for
years.
10 or 15 years.
Well, this isn't something that's,
Well, the school district has to hold to a board. And so like this to go a few years where the school district didn't want. Yes. And then it came back 3 years ago.
When I came on board, I thought it was a worthwhile venture that you should engage, a program that I believe in, and it's worked out very well.
It was initially, when we brought it back, envisioned as a part-time position, hoping that we'd get a retired officer that was interested in taking the assignment, but that didn't end up materializing, so we opted to put one of the full-time officers there. And mentioned to the district that them help to, because it was our choice to shift it, we didn't end up charging them for the difference. But we mentioned that would be something that would be helpful to create another full-time benefited slot, which would help with the staffing aspect as well. And they seemed amenable to that because again, they saw a lot of value in the position.
so this school. Supply. So the school supplied funds for this?
Yes, well, the officers working in September to June at the school.
So we can advertise, say that, like, she is one of the one retired officer to go over there and Joe interviews him and, well, I mean, that's a shame we don't have that.
Sebastian's
You know what I mean, Sebastian, a retired guy that maybe he's certified and Joe could interview or maybe find a problem. Maybe you can help Joe with that.
That's all I have.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
don't forget August 18th. Go ahead.
Chase softball.
Oh,
He said he's playing left out.
If somebody there Swanzey comes down, I think we'll get some of the Swanzey. I mean, the Swanzey office is on we don't have one Swanzey officer, right? It's a shame. I'm gonna go there and be embarrassment. I'm gonna be the selectman that runs it, and I'm gonna have nobody from Swanzey.
Well, I hope you'll encourage someone who are in staff to attend. There's an appreciation for first responders.
And it's gonna be lots, 2,000 people, we have speakers, we have a lot of things going on. You know, the state police there, the sheriffs, they're gonna bring the dogs, they're gonna put the helicopter down. fireworks. There's gonna be a lot of good things. Or it'd be nice if we did see maybe Swansea, somebody from Swansea represent Swansea. Because I think we got all the towns around, right? I think Swansea the only one we don't have, right? It's playing.
We could send some criminals.
Well, they asked the selectmen, and I suggested that Bill and you might play.
Right there with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joe.
Want to back it up to old business for water line extension to Valley Creek?
That is the new, I bet it is, we got the bid for the, we got the price for the 8-inch, right? The
Yeah.
8-inch.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Are you happy? Things are moving.
Yes.
8-inch. Sebastian.
Good job, Sebastian.
Have a good night.
Sebastian, I'm gonna hang this on my wall.
For the Eagle's Nest?
The Eagles nest.
So what do we got, 288 or something? Then
That's what I read, 288,000.
he's looking for 140.
Sounds right.
They went from 262 to 288, from 4-inch to 8-inch, right? Or 6-inch to 8-inch.
Yeah.
And we did decide that 8-inch would be enough, because I know Bill has a lot of good questions about that. So I was a little lost, but you had good questions about the size of the funny bunk there for him. They sure sounded good. What's the cost?
288,000
The total?
total, yeah.
I think we need to hold off and do more discussion on it. I think we need to find out from the committee for the fire station as to whether this is a viable location or not. I think if we give 140 or whatever it is, 140,000, that takes our total investment for somewhere in the 350 range. And that's a lot of money if we're to try to sell the property. With the zoning change, reducing multifamily to 8 units per acre, you could put the same amount of units that Jeremiah wants to put on 2 acres on this property for. So it's lost tremendous value from that standpoint. So we really have to be hoping that we got an industry that wanted to put a manufacturing or warehouse facility on there in order to get our money back. Because the comps aren't going to support roughly 100,000 per acre in general with the zoning. So I think we need to find out what the fire station committee wants to do. The risk we take is that he goes ahead and puts wells in, and then if the committee picks the site, we're on the hook to run the line. But at least it's a known for us, as opposed to an unknown. So, and I think we should have more discussion with the precinct to find out whether they're willing to contribute with us so that we go in collectively, because then it changes my thoughts completely. And then I also think it's a pretty cheap price. I shouldn't say cheap, inexpensive. It's roughly 2.25 a foot. My understanding is it's now roughly 300 a foot to run a line. So who's doing the work? I want to know that, because we're paying for it. So who's doing it?
But it's off the pavement too, so.
It is, but then there's driveways.
Savings, yeah.
And I drove that today, because I knew that was on the agenda, just to see my vision. And I'm looking, when we cut that edge on the edge of the road, the telephone poles are right there. Is that a fact? When you dig down for a big trench and put a water line, you got a telephone pole here, you got the road here. Where does the water line go? In between the pole and the tree? I mean, I looked at the pole, it's right where you would think the water line would go building. So I'm thinking in my head, we can't disturb the roads. I said the same thing you do. I thought it was extremely cheap. And that's one of the concerns I had. Who's doing this for this kind of money? Because I know what mine's costing me in my pocket. I'm going to Circleville, right? And I'm at, $700,000. You know what I mean? And that's in that needed market. So those are great answers, Billy. I mean, that's what I was thinking. That we would have to investigate all that. I agree with you on this.
Commissioners for the precinct have a meeting August 15th. Yeah, so they'll be discussing it then.
Is that something you can talk to them on our behalf?
Yeah.
Do you need
I mean,
to be there?
Or does that put you in wearing too many hats at once?
puts me in wearing too many hats at once.
Them giving 25%, us giving 25%, him doing 50, and then we talked about 75,000, we maybe could work with. And I looked at you and you thought maybe we could finagle that, logically put it in and get our money back, right? Versus 150,000. How deep are we in the land? 200? Couple hundred thousand? Yeah.
That includes removal of the existing buildings.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a fantastic point, this fire committee here, you don't know. You know, there's a lot of unknown, right, floating around there. And the risk is, can fire department hold wells there? Would it be enough water? We don't need a lot of water, right, about it. It's not like they're filling the trucks.
I mean, look what they built Webb, that's well and septic.
Yeah. So we always could just go, well, we would pay to leave that, you know?
Westmoreland has a big cistern underneath the station, I guess, and they use it to fill their trucks and provide fire protection.
So yeah, it's not so much that, I mean, it partly would be to fill the trucks, but it's more for the fire prevention, for the systems for sprinklers and cisterns. If you have a water system in the pump, you might not need all that. It's more, I think, more of that, right?
Yeah.
The trucks.
Sure.
Anything you want to add, sir? All right, where are we at?
So tables and.
Table.
Or no? Okay.
And we're moving along to tables for Whitcomb Hall.
Yes, we talked about this a while ago, and I think either Katrina was out or we wanted to get more quotes. But we'd like to buy some additional tables for.
It just seemed, that's almost $200 a day.
Yeah.
Are they the big round ones or are they?
Oh, Bill might be right.
18 for $1,400.
Is he?
I know they've spent a lot of time looking at.
Well, it's out of the day. It was. I'm sorry? It was 8.
Yeah, set of 4 for $742.
$200
That's this table, they look at it.
Yeah.
Solid in the middle, not fold up.
Right.
Hate to say it, that's the cost of the bill. I looked it up, because I have a foldable one for my data room that I put in my trailer. And the foldable ones, Billy, that me and you were out on it. I agree with you, but these are a little longer too. These are bigger than 8, son. But these are, I don't know, Billy, I don't know. I thought Billy was right, $200. I was like, wow. But my fold up ones, what are they actually for? What do we need for this room like this?
Upstairs.
Oh, upstairs.
It's to avoid having to lug them back and forth as much.
And they are using the lift, right?
I think
Like they stand them up in the lift and send them up.
I believe so.
Oh, I see. You have something going on up there. Somebody has to carry these and go upstairs with them.
Yeah, maybe she all over the curb.
Hanging around. How many do we have down here?
These are all real big.
Whatever's in there.
There's probably some upstairs right now too.
And we've had one, we've had this. So
Why do we need so many when you do like the planning board and stuff like that? Are they set up? Because when I looked at films of the planning board, it looks like they do a big. And we just did the firemen grant.
Yeah.
That's what they're all up there for.
That's what.
And when somebody rents this, they'll put the tables around the outside and then have the round tables in the middle.
Who said we need more? Ann?
The Whitcomb Hall team.
The Whitcomb Hall team. To me, it seems like we have a lot of tables. Look at that big horseshoe up there that we already got.
Right.
Do we really need $1,400 worth of 81 tables? Will they be used?
I'm the messenger.
I know, Mike.
Split the difference and do 4.
I agree.
is there a bulk price or is it just a?
No, I don't think so. I think it's per set of 4.
I'd go with that.
I'll go with that.
$742, or is there shipping involved?
I believe that included shipping.
I'll make a motion that we split the difference on the table.
745.
Go by 4.
Why don't we go 750, just in case.
All right.
750 in case of shipping.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to authorize the expenditure of up to $750 to purchase tables for Whitcomb Hall from the Whitcomb Hall revolving fund. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it.
Second purchase, excuse me.
4 tables.
4 tables?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Request for nomination, New Hampshire Municipal Association Board of Directors.
Expressed an interest in elected officials.
How about hired officials?
Someone, you got a prospect.
I asked him, I thought he was.
Should have queued me in.
I thought, good night, Jim. I thought he was on the Board of Directors, but he was on a subcommittee. So,
I'm lost for what you're talking about.
the New Hampshire,
Hampshire Municipal Association, they put on trainings and they have a policy process where they help advocate for.
Seriously, really?
they did your
Brilliant.
New officials.
new officials training, right to know law, all that stuff.
They do bring it for board member.
I told Michael if he didn't want to do it, I could do it, but evidently he wants to do it.
Who wants to do?
Michael,
So it's
you
we're
want
debating.
Want to be nominated? Is that what it is?
How's that work?
We're debating.
Do I want to be nominated?
I think you do.
But do I want to be the village clerk in the North Swansea Water and Fire? No, we're not members.
So you're not one person?
Apply
to what?
to the board of directors of the Hampshire.
So basically you're on the board of directors of
Well, I'll apply to.
will apply, because there's an opening. And how do they do that? They vote?
I guess the other people vote.
Where do
Some
people vote?
sort of, yeah.
Wow.
I think they do elections at the annual meeting.
I'm gonna make a motion immediately that we nominate Sly to be on the board.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Wait, you're gonna recuse yourself.
Well, I will.
Well, wait a minute, this is my turn.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I don't want that. Go ahead. Wait till you see it. Go ahead. Just please.
All in favor, say aye.
Abstain.
Abstain, aye.
Congratulations, I'll send you the application form.
Thank you.
Michael,
But he
I
Michael,
abstain.
wipe the sweat off your forehead.
You almost had to go.
You dodged a bullet.
But I will get him on some more subcommittees.
He's gonna be in Concord every 3 days a week next year
Yeah.
at this rate.
Good.
He likes going confident, right?
Yeah.
He's got his new town, he's right there. Cruise control.
This is the hard part. Update on reevaluation of assessed values.
Everyone see the materials I sent out earlier this week?
I have the second nicest house on my street.
You do?
Yes.
What was that?
What? That's what it is. Somebody else has a bigger garage.
Looking at increases of averaging 50%.
On residential,
Overall, it's 50%.
what's the breakout? Do we know that?
I don't have, yeah, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that yet. We looked at, he had it by zone, but I don't, by zone, that's tricky. But
What was our MS1 before that?
it's around 640 million. So
Yeah, so now we're 1.1 billion. So if you want to buy a town,
it's just got a lot more.
That's more than 50%. That's almost a doubling.
Maybe it was 700.
I think that includes all property, but I think the taxable,
Oh, yeah.
right? So the town property and the schools in there at the 1.1 billion.
That number you're telling me is what we tax on, 600 million in the town of Swansea.
We get 8 million,
So now you're saying it's gonna be what?
1.1 billion,
1 billion.
110 million. No,
1,000.
1,100, 1,100.
So what happens now is what? Now the tax rates are
You're,
even this.
you're about to get a letter with your new value.
Everybody gets.
So instead of $30 per thousand, it will drop down, hopefully, to $15 per thousand.
And how do we come up with, how does that number happen?
Which number?
The 15%.
We got to get the $8 million we run on, plus the school
Oh,
and.
so you figure that out basically on a budget,
I
right?
don't state, the state.
Oh.
We figure out we know what our.
Budget is, and we know what we need for money. So if we need 8 million, we got to adjust from the billion of what the tax rate is, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's going to freak out when they get these letters, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going, oh my God, my taxes are going to be crazy.
Right, wind up. The next selection.
It's just stop scaring me.
It's gonna happen.
That's it.
Yeah, well, but there's no, there's the appeal process.
All right, so after the letters go out, how long of a period do we wait till we know what the tax rate is going to be?
Well, until October or November. So people get the new value, which is significantly higher. Then they look at the tax rate and they multiply it and they say, oh my God, my taxes are going up. But you shouldn't do that because the tax rate is going to go down.
How much it is on Patterson right now?
26 and change, I think.
$26. So if your house is worth 10,000, whatever, just too bad. 10 times 26. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they look proper.
They will.
But now if your house is worth 300,
Yeah, but so that doesn't.
77.
You said the other night that we're gonna be getting another 50 million in taxable things, but really, we're not.
well,
What's the other?
because there's been $100 million worth of building in town between all the apartments and Webb and, well, Flatley. That's the big one.
SMC.
So, yeah,
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna have, oh, it does help the
it
bottom
does,
line.
yeah.
More value means lower.
Yeah.
So it'll lower people's taxes initially
Yeah.
if we keep our spending level. But if we end up with $800,000 more for the town per year, I think we're gonna need more services, like more police and
Correct.
maybe bump up some of the other recycling and things that are gonna take a hit. So,
What is last year's budget? What is our budget? It's 8 million?
7.9.
And does that go up every year? I budget, obviously.
Not necessarily. We had a few years it went down.
Is that right?
Yeah.
See, it's hard now.
During a different market.
right.
Inflation is quicker. But everybody else too. But can you explain so Jim understands what the appeal process is?
So everyone gets the letter that has their new value, and it's gonna have dates and times on it, and a phone number to call, not the town hall, not Jimmy, not the selectman, the contracted assessor, which is Mayor's office assessing. You call them, we have a whole week basically scheduled at Whitcomb Hall. We got a couple afternoons, an evening, a Saturday, and then they'll schedule appointments. And all right, you got 10 o'clock to meet with the assessor. And you come in and you say, hey, this says I have 4 bedrooms. I really only have 3. Or I looked at my neighbor's property and they're the same, and you have me assessed much higher. Or just to understand the process, then they make adjustments. They might go visit properties depending. And so that's later in August. And then
Wait a minute, let me ask a question. That's the assessor that sits here. And you?
we can sit in on
Bill
them.
just
Just
fly, sit in with that too?
it's up to them.
We don't have, but you could?
You could just to get
The assessor was
for you to go to.
still walking.
Participate.
No.
No, because you don't have the knowledge. It's the assessment company that did the work.
And so this is if they looked at a house from the outside and they thought it was 4 bedrooms and the guy's waiting, I don't have 4, I get it. Okay, so that's their opportunity and it says, right?
That's the initial opportunity before you even get a new
They
bill.
also have to let them in. If they're appealing, they gotta let the assessor in.
If you're, yeah, or provide some other documentation.
Oh, really? The assessor can say, well, I'm gonna make now another appointment to go to your home and I wanna go in and see these 3 bedrooms.
Sure. Because if they're appealing it,
Does that happen a lot? A lot of people appeal?
well, this time. Because they'll forget the other part of the ratio.
And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what month does that happen?
August, later in August.
Later in
I think the
August.
second to last week in August. So they'll get about 3 weeks notice when they get the letters.
Okay, now you would continue on after that.
Right, so that's still all just informal, there's no, it's just friendly, you're not disputing really. Then the values will get finalized, we'll submit them to the state, then they give us the new tax rate, like in November. Then the new tax,
But the budgets are going in.
the budget's all set in March.
So when that goes to them, we send our budget, which is the amount of our budget, and we send our valuation, then they come back and they say it's $20 on the 1,000, right? Whatever.
Right. Then we run the new tax warrant and people get the new bills with the new value and the new tax rate. Some go down, some go up, some stay the same. Then by March 1st, they can file an abatement and they can provide additional. So that's more the informal values, they only happen during the reval, the informal hearings. You don't have those every year, the revaluation. Then the abatement, which is any year, everyone can do that by March 1st. There's a form that they fill out on our website. It's a standard state form. And they fill that out and then they file an abatement. They meet with the assessor again, and again, hopefully they should let them in the property if there's factual data that they're disputing. And then by July of the next year, either it gets approved or not. Then there's another step where they can appeal to the state, either Superior Court or the Board of Tax and Land Appeals. So there's a lot of opportunities to.
Well, we're also involved. You signed off on some of the appeals.
The abatements, right?
Abatement, yeah. The mayor's all for them. They were in the consent agenda. So that you had to probably read those. That sometimes you agreed, sometimes you didn't agree. If you didn't agree, then it lost it. Because we've had people come.
We've had people come to this before.
Before going for the appeals.
Yes.
We did this year.
So the things that we get in front of them, that we sign is their decision, they just agree or they agree, and we basically go along with what they say.
With what mayor's off.
Yes.
Unless we've had a question, we used to run into questions more when we had vision than we have with mayor's off. When we had vision, they were all over the map, some of their values. They were an assessing team at the time.
Wow, so we got busy times coming from that. What did you say the busy time of this is the budget time, right?
Well, this and then the budget.
Yeah.
This is going more, you're getting the phone calls.
You get the walk-ins at the restaurant. Jimmy, what the heck? Why are you raising my taxes? You're not.
Don't forget to tell them the rate balances.
Well, I'm glad this is explained to me, so it's very simple. I mean, it's not brain surgery, it's, you know.
But the reverse happens too. Look at Claremont. Claremont was, well, they were number one, weren't they? For tax rate?
They're up there, yeah.
Because their values were so low. Their rate was over $40 the last time I checked. And that's just because their values are so low. But if their values
To match their budget. Right. So that's how that helps the budget by more buildings, because it raises that number.
Right.
Right? So when we divide our budget into there, it lowers that rate.
And we're at 100% valuation, but Claremont may or may not have been at 60 or 80% of valuation. You know, so just because they didn't reevaluate their property as timely as we did, their property values were lower, but they had to bring the rate up.
Wow, maybe $40 in the tax.
Hinsdale's right up there too, right? 38 or something.
And when you do a reval and values go down, people don't like that either, because then you're saying your house is worth less. They don't like that either. Yeah, that was my first reval was one that went.
I guarantee you in my part, those homes over there are gonna triple, probably in value.
I think
If they go by.
I think yours did.
I saw a lot of 80,000s over there.
One's on 129 right now.
I know,
We got
that's-
3 buyers.
That's my big argument. How come my house went up so much? But
Yeah.
Well, those are depreciating assets.
Did you already know your valuation?
yeah, it's on, he sent it out.
That form we got on Monday.
Was three PDFs.
You got distracted the other day. That was the other thing I was going to tell you that I sent you. To
One
see
by
what you saw.
location, one by
Oh, you sent it to
owner.
me, so I have it?
Something.
Has every owner the place?
It was nice. One of them was,
So I can look at mine?
he took all the big commercial properties and put them together. Yeah. So, you know, like Winchester Wood and all
I
that.
think it said like,
It was nice.
Mark will help you.
And Winchester Wood went up to 3.9
What did it say?
something million, and I think that's They had the ad in the paper.
I didn't know
I think it was 3.9 or 5.9.
Buy Mark dinner tonight, he'll help you get it. He'll get it straight.
Assessed at 1.7 or so. So,
Yeah.
I'll send it again, so it's at the top.
We're still behind, but I remember when we revalved in 14, I'm pretty sure it was 14, right?
Yeah, 14, 19.
The assessed values dropped. And boy, people were not happy, but that was the market then.
right.
It just dropped. I remember because the assessed value was actually higher than the market value. A lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth on that one, I really was.
Yeah, there's only been
My house is worth $250, how come the offer's only $220? Well, market's a little different than the assessing.
Speaking of that, you in the new house? You sleeping there?
No, it's right over here. Yeah, we're right next door.
You're in the end?
Yeah.
Nice.
Why? What's not missing in the house? You got no water?
No water, partial electric.
You're out of your house and you're living in the end?
Tomorrow we get water.
So you want me to put some gluten-free dinners on my menu then?
Sure. Be right there.
Gluten-free pot pie, you come down for it?
Absolutely. You could do, I would do.
Because I'm gonna order them.
Can you get this back under control, Mr. Chairman?
Just go ask them.
Are you really?
Cisco Artisan. And so I asked him the other day, because the pot pies are sounding like crazy, and a lot of people want to get it gluten-free.
Yeah.
And they love the pot pies.
Can we do an August meeting schedule?
It's every Wednesday, it looked like to me, right?
No.
We don't miss one.
Missing next Wednesday. Here the following Wednesday, missing the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Still summer schedule.
These are all subject to whether or not we need to come back for them.
Emergencies may supersede.
So,
So look good.
so we don't meet now till what, the
14.
14th? Wow. And then the 28th.
Any other public input?
Wanted to make note, included in the packet, but I didn't know you saw it and sent it over, but the West Swanzey Water Company was one of the highest scored state water fund applications. So they
Ooh, what changed?
got Ben Dreyer and Underwood Engineers doing good work over there. So they've approved loan up to 6.4 million, which we could have gotten a loan, but I think
2% or something?
I thought it was the rate.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think the rate was around 2%, but looking at over 20% of
Forgiveness.
principal forgiveness, so grant basically. And we had the 2 million of congressionally directed spending for Senator Shaheen. So hopefully we're putting together the funding picture like we had talked about this spring. So making good progress on that.
Great.
I had one, but it's not within me.
2 weeks?
Yeah. So
When do we now discuss like some of the issues that we're going to get tonight and just some evening stuff? We're going to look into them.
Yeah, I think
Do we bring it up? Do we bring it up in this meeting?
maybe have Mike report something in 2 weeks as far as the truck traffic up to the other places and why he can or cannot park his truck and backhoe or something on his property.
sure. So it might come to next meeting.
Or just report back what the issue is.
Can do that.
I think we should have him so we can ask questions too, but we don't want it if you think of it.
No, that's fine.
Good enough, 'cause you weren't here for him, please, were you?
I wasn't blind on
Yeah. Well, some of his arguments are that he's not the one that's going up and down the hill, speeding and stuff.
I feel uncomfortable talking about it after he left since he was here earlier. So
Sure.
so I'd like come in next week. Is that the one yes, one maybe?
Yeah, in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, next meeting, yeah. Yeah, he was initially planning to come in, but I felt like I said, I felt uncomfortable with Jeff leaving and then having him come in after, so.
Right.
Thank you for first item.
Very good. Thank you.
And have you set the public hearing yet for the
I will now that you said.
Southwest Community Services? Okay. Questions on Facebook about Denman Thompson Highway Bridge?
Yeah, I need to check with Joe on that.
Hopefully not too far into September.
Hopefully not.
Okay.
Are they gonna be
School
able to
starts like
make it
August
like
28th.
That was their contingency plan, yes.
Throw it on the plate.
Yep.
Our Wilson Pond Dam looks good. Lots of iron going in, and hope you have a body you want to put in before the
Are
cement.
they sealing up?
Okay, June. Not this one. No.
So I understood too, I got a couple of calls how our fire department ain't answering some of these calls. What was the call the other day that they didn't get to? Car accident, Swanzey Lake Road.
In the morning?
Exactly, a car accident on Route 10 on Sunday, car hit a guardrail, and no one from Swansea went, ended up sending Keene down. Then they had another APD accident on Swansea Lake.
That's what it was.
Where Swansea did go to that, and Keene also responded to it.
But I heard the one over here only Eric showed that, right?
I heard Norm on the radio. I believe they were all in Wofford and sky training or something. I know I saw Eric drive by early in the morning by the town hall and I was there.
Yeah, because, you know, Keene does get a little upset, I guess, answering our calls, huh?
Well, I think we still go up there more than they come down here.
Is that
so,
right?
yeah.
Good. Is that true? Huh? It's like
Trying to think
going
of,
past Seabird and stuff.
Yeah.
There.
Or cover their station.
we were up, when were we up there for the, the Tanglewood, all the trees down and everything. We're up there quite a while for that. And they've had some other fires and things, so.
No, I just was curious, and I'm not saying anything bad about it, I'm just saying that it was brought to my attention that, you know, just let the girls know that, that's all.
But there was a dryer fire at the laundromat at T-Bird this evening, just before our meeting.
So.
Keene came down for that. Our guys went, so.
Time to go.
Want to say anything? Propose?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Smart.